How's it going, everyone? Welcome to Mindtality Podcast. My name is Julian Peters. For those that are listening, welcome to my voice. For those that are watching, how's it going? Today, I'm pretty excited. I have a special guest, Casey Luke. He is the owner of Luke's Barbecue and General Store out here in Grandview, Missouri. He's also a member of Elite Total Fitness. Shout out to Elite. But I'm telling y'all this right now. This is some of the best barbecue that I've had since I've been here. How's it going?
Mm. What's up, man?
Not much, not much. So did you work out today?
I did. I worked out for 2 hours this morning.
Oh, really?
No ice cream last night either.
Right. We'll talk about that a little bit too. But so Casey, just to go ahead and start this conversation out, let's talk about your background, where you're from, what got you to where you are as far as being in Grandview.
Um, I was born and raised in Belton, so just next town over. My dad actually lives in Grandview. Grandparents lived in Grandview. Um, so I remember how Grandview was 25 years ago. Um, I got here, I wanted to be on Main Street by a train. That was always my vision. And my mom just happened to drive by and see this place, and I didn't think it was big enough, but once you rip down a bunch of walls, you make a lot of room.
Yeah. So were you always like a barbecue guy? Was that always been your specialty, or?
Yeah, barbecue's always been my bread and butter. I just started doing it on the side for fun, man, just burning through smokers every year, every 6 months. And it just kind of grew from there. Uh, yeah, man, it's just kind of always been my thing. That's actually not what I started. I started this place as any event catering.
Okay.
And the only reason I did that was we're in the barbecue capital of the world. So I was afraid to put barbecue on the sign, but I sold it. Um, and this place completely morphed into a barbecue. So that's what everybody wanted. And so it worked out perfect for me.
Right. No doubt, no doubt. So, like I've told y'all, I've had it. My wife's had it. We both love it. The smoked turkey is amazing. The cinnamon roll she had was great too. I've talked to people; they love the potatoes. They love everything. So, what? Before we did the restaurant, before we started this, you have a very interesting story, which I think is inspiring for people to hear. So I wanted you to go ahead and talk about that because I know you had struggled with some addiction, you were struggling with some things. So let's start from day one of that. Where did that begin?
You know, my deal was always alcohol. Uh, and it started like when most kids start, 16, 15, hell, it's probably earlier than that. Um, just hanging out, just kind of doing, on the weekends. And, I did everything. I mean, I kind of ran wild as a kid. I definitely got into some trouble, but for the most part, it was pretty innocent. But over the years, it just morphed and morphed and morphed, and then it turns into it's not even fun anymore. It's a necessity just to get through the day. Um, so man, I went through. You know, thing about people like me is we're just so hard headed. You know, so DUIs, going to jail, uh, class after class after class that the state makes you go through, and you know being in jail and calling my son, and his mom, you know playing middleman, saying dad's out of town at work, and I'm really in jail talking to him. uh Man, that was tough, but none of it was tough enough for me to quit drinking. um Kept doing it, but it was such a necessity for me. I mean, I needed it. Towards the end, I say the end before I ended up in the hospital. I'd gone through all this, and my DUIs started, I think, before I got my license, and, but, I could feel my body was getting weak, and, I always worked, and I think everybody has their story, and mine's not special. And everybody's different, when it comes to drinking and addiction and stuff. But I was very functional. So I could go to knock out, 13, 14, 15, 16 hours, of work. Um, I was drinking, but I was doing it, I was paying bills and, um, relationships, I wasn't always the best judge of, finding someone, but it's just a different life when you're like that. But, at one point, I'm working and, I'm spitting up blood, and throwing dirt over it and lying to myself saying it wasn't blood. It's just crazy how, you just lie to yourself, and it's just bad. It was all bad. It just snowballed and got worse and worse and worse. And, I never thought that I could quit. I really didn't. I always drank more than everybody I knew. It wasn't a secret that I was a drinker. Um, it was definitely a secret how much I drank and how often I was drinking. Um, and it was, it was, it was bad. I ended up, I had accepted death 2 years before I got sick. I really thought that I was just going to die, because I couldn't stop. Um, Sitting depressed, drunk at night, starting to write these letters, to my son, trying to explain, you know, just so maybe he could understand a little bit, where I was coming from and things I wanted for him, and just a really, really dark, dark, dark place, and one day, man, I don't, to be honest, I don't remember exactly how it happened, but I I laid down in bed and I was drinking. I don't remember eating at all, but I was there for probably 2 weeks. I told work I needed some time off, and I knew it, but I didn't know it, but I was about dead. And when you're laying in bed, you kind of are in and out this whole time, and you got your grandma shows up, who's never been to your place before, and um, you got these random people showing up, and my dad, who I didn't talk to for 5 years, showed up, and he's really the one. He came 2 days. The first day he came, and I remember it a little bit. But the second day he came, he was on a mission, and he said, "You're going to the hospital whether you like it or not." And I wasn't very happy about it, but he literally loaded me up in the truck and convoyed my ass to the hospital. And my uncle's he was my doctor, and my sister's a nurse, so they're there at the hospital, and here I am, and I was just scared to death because nobody really knew how much I had been drinking and for how long and how I really felt in my body. And, I'd never gone to the doctor really, and got tested for, you know, my body. So they start running all the tests, and, I just thought that that was it. I figured everything was, how does your body put up with that for so long, and, just being abused. And, I was almost dead. I had no nutrients in my body. They thought I was going to have a stroke or a heart attack, and just looking at people, and when things aren't right, and they're looking at you, and you're like, oh shit, and that's how it was. And I remember a couple days into it, I tried to get up to go to the bathroom, and I couldn't use my legs, And this male nurse had come in, and I said, what's going on? And he goes, you don't have any nutrients in your body. So I was fueled off of alcohol at this point. I don't remember, it doesn't matter what my alcohol level was, but it was up there, and that's how I lived. That's how I got by. um but I pulled through it. And once you you start thinking, once you start getting sober after 20 years, all these thoughts, and your mind's so foggy. And they say, sometimes it takes a year just for your head to get right. um but when you go into a hospital like that, they want you, before you leave, to commit to a program. um our good friend at the gym, Bucky, I'm sure he's okay if we say his name.
Yeah.
He was there, just because he had been through it, and he was trying to, be an advocate to go to an inpatient. And like I said, man, I'm just so hard headed. I knew that I wasn't going to go to an inpatient. So I wasn't going to sit here and blow smoke up everybody's ass and say, um, I'm going to do this. And I knew that I wasn't. Uh, so I did. I got out. I did sign up for these classes in Overland Park, and it was a pretty good program. But I had decided before I left the hospital I was never going to drink again, and everybody says that. Um, so I start going to these classes. I'm also working at the time too, so I'm getting the work mode, and I'm a worker. Uh, so I'd show up late. Finally, I'm like, I'm not trying to disrespect the class. um you know and then I just quit going. But um I needed to do it my way. They told me in there that there's a 1% chance of you not drinking if you don't go to AA. And I didn't want to go to AA. And I didn't want to go to AA because I was being I was just being defiant. I just knew that it wasn't for me. I always said, and I knew in the back of my mind, if I feel, even to this day, if I feel like I need to go to an AA class, I'll go to it. I have a couple really close friends that are knee deep in AA, and it really works for them. I didn't think it would work for me. Um, so the drinking kind of subsided. Obviously, it was done. Man, I just finding a new normal was the really tough thing for me. So I kind of disappeared for a little while. I remember I went down to the lake house by myself, and I started asking myself all those questions that I think everybody should ask themselves, but you don't. What do you want to do? Where do you want to go? How are you going to do it? What are you going to go about it? When are you going to start? And that's really where my whole mindset and life changed, was down there doing that. Because I remember I come back, um, and I got back in the grind of work, and I just wasn't happy. I wasn't happy doing what I was doing. And all of a sudden, all these 20 years of drinking just blew by. So
Right.
so so now here I am, and I'm like, this isn't where I want to be. So this barbecue was actually something I had in my head for probably 15 years, and I didn't tell a soul about. Um, Number one, because I knew I couldn't do it when I was drinking. I was too weak. I was too, I couldn't keep my head straight enough to do anything. So, one day at work, I made the decision that I was gonna open a a barbecue, and that's where it started, and I had no clue how. I
Well,
just knew that I was gonna do it.
would you
Uh,
say that the barbecue and the store and the restaurant was your change in addiction? because I hear a lot of people when they talk about like when they're addicted to a drug or they're addicted to alcohol, they find something else because that's a behavior in you that kind of is there no matter what the situation. Like some people I know that I talked to, bodybuilding became. So with the barbecue, did that replace that, or would you say it was something different?
No, well, ice cream. Ice cream was a big
No joke.
This joke's never gonna end with ice cream. So yes, I agree with what you just said 100%. You know, if you have an addictive personality to anything and you do it for a long time and give it up, you have to fill that void. It's what you choose to fill that void with. Um, you know, for instance, some people say, hey, I'm gonna quit smoking and they start chewing, or I'm gonna stop drinking Jack Daniels and I'm gonna start drinking wine, because it's better for you. And this doctor says you can have a glass a day. You know, it's all, you know, but you have to fill that void and you can do it in a negative way or you can do it in a positive way. Um, I knew I was done drinking. Everybody, what bothered me is I'd go out to eat with these people or, whoever, and, you know, they always ordered a beer at dinner and all of a sudden they're ordering an iced tea or something. And I was like, no, you guys all, it's never bothered me because in my head, I know I'm not going to ever drink again. So I can go sit down with somebody at a bar all night long and it may not be fun, because when you're sober and you get around a bunch of drunk people, but I would not get enticed to drink at all. It doesn't bother me. I have alcohol in the kitchen. It's not. I don't get those nights where I'm like, yeah, I don't have that. It's gone uh, by the grace of God or whoever. I just don't. I don't have any desire to ever drink again. I won't, and that's that.
So would you obviously you're different than another person? We know some people can't just quit cold turkey like that. They would have to go through a program. But where was the hospital the final straw? Seeing where you were at, or was it like a family interaction? Was it a combination? What exactly was the point where you're like, okay, I'm done?
It was in the hospital, and I'm grateful for everybody that got me there. But the thing that a lot of people don't understand unless you've been through it, a lot of people deal with this, by the way. I am not special. There's so many people out there that are dealing with it, or have dealt with it. But for me, it was being in the hospital, and it was after getting my test results back, and basically going from thinking I was going to die in there to you're not going to die. Um, that was it for me. I think if I want to pinpoint it, it would be that because I remember thinking, shit, your body's not, your organs are still working, and I think that was my turning point where I decided, hey man, we're gonna live and we're gonna live the way we're supposed to. How I'm gonna do that, I didn't know, but I knew that I was gonna change my life. Um, and I knew I wasn't going to drink again for sure. So I'd say it was in the hospital. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Okay, well, not cool, but obviously. So as far as you you're overcoming the addiction, you cut that cold turkey. It almost seems like when you said that you went down to the lake, that like your thought process was life starting over again.
It
And
really
so
was.
what is that process? Because like I've never had to start life over. You know what I mean? I haven't been in that situation, but I'm sure that there might be a person that knows you or knows me that listens to this that might be at that crossroads. I need to start new, and I'm pretty sure that might have been scary, or you didn't necessarily know how you were going to go about it. So, were there any situation that you had to work through or anything that you had to, push forward in to start?
Hey, you're cutting out a little bit when you're away from that.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Let's try that. Okay. So, um, I was talking about the lake situation and how you said you were starting over a new chapter, right?
Right.
So when you start in a new chapter, obviously that can be scary. Like you don't, it's a whole new situation. It could be a new career, it could be a new hobby, it could be new addiction. And I'm sure somebody that's either knows you or me is going to listen to this and might be in that crossroads situation, right? Where they might be starting. So, what would be your advice to that person? I know you probably went through some things getting ready for this new chapter.
To be completely honest, I think the way I did it, uh, I think I was kind of one of those one percenters because I know a lot of people try to do what I did and it doesn't work. Um, I don't know why it worked for me. I knew that um, I knew that certain things that I wasn't gonna do. Um, Going down to the lake for me was I was just lost. You know what I mean? I was lost. I was depressed. Um, you take this big hit of humility, and you're embarrassed, because I've tried my whole life to always kind of be, you know, take care of shit and you know, I was doing it drunk the whole time. Um, so my thought process when I went down there was what are you gonna do? Like, where do you go from here? Um, and those are just some of those things that you can't talk to anybody about, or I couldn't. You know what I mean? I didn't really open up to anybody at this point about anything, so I needed to figure out what I was going to do. I knew that I needed to be a better dad. As much as I thought I was being a dad, when you're drinking, and I was a mellow drinker. I didn't go crazy and break things or anything like that. I was very laid back. But it doesn't matter when you're always drinking. You're not present. You know, and so I knew that I knew I needed to fix myself before I could fix anything else. So once you get past the drinking part, well, then what? Then what the hell do you do? I don't know. you know, I so I went down there and I just did a lot of thinking. I've always, being able to sit, and just stare at the water and kind of, you know, that was my kind of place to be, for that. And I did. I just asked myself, what are you gonna do? How are you gonna do it? Where do you go from here? You know, um, I'm in my mid late 30s. What are you gonna do now, bud? It's time to buck up and do something. Um, and just finding that new normal. And I still struggle with it now, and it is filling that void. It's filling the void of, hey, you want to go watch a movie? Movie night. Oh, we're drinking beer. Um, let's go fishing. We're drinking beer. There wasn't anything I was doing where I wasn't drinking. You know, so everything was new. Everything I was doing was new, you know. If anybody that knows me, they know I love to fish, but it was really odd for me because I didn't have a drink in my hand. So I'm not trying to trail off on you, but it's just going down there was that point where I just needed to be alone and get everybody out of my head and get whatever was in my head out and just kind of go about it. I just had to pick a direction and just go, and that's
Right.
that's what that was about.
Right. All right. So we get past that point and we decide I'm going to go ahead and start a barbecue restaurant. I'm going to go ahead and get it going. And like I said, I know we've talked about this, but I have some people that are friends that want to start restaurants or want to start these things. And they might see your situation, think, oh, I can do that. You know, Casey's doing that. I can probably do that. And I know there's a lot of details and things that go into it. We're not just talking about the rubs and the spices and the smoking, because you got that on lock. I'm gonna tell y'all again, this food's amazing. But what did it take to start this? And what was one of the obstacles that you faced that you had to overcome?
Um, there was a few obstacles that I don't want to bring up, but and it really doesn't matter. But so number one, I think that I was aware that this was a new business. I was aware my new business. Okay, so we're at the point now where I got the building. I'm doing the remodel, so I got my belt on, and it was fun, ripped everything out, and then I started making this place the way I wanted it to be. I wanted it to be, a rustic look. I got my train, that annoys the hell out of me now, and I got my main street, and I had my vision. So then, I start, you know, making this place rustic, and I start doing all that. So in the middle of all this, I have to figure out the business. How are we going to get going and all this? So um, really good advice I could say to give for somebody that's doing it. Number one, don't be arrogant. Don't be a know-it-all, because number one, nobody wants to be around that. Nobody wants to help that. And if you're starting a new business, I don't care who you are, you need somebody's help. So I asked a bunch of questions, and I reached out to people who have been there and done that, or whatever it was at the time. Um, I listened a lot. Um, you can't ever forget that I'm hard headed though. So I'd ask a lot of questions, but sometimes I'd be like, well, I'm not doing it like that. I'm going to do it the way I'm going to do it.
Right.
But I never said that to anybody. Um, and so my stepmom, she's a godsend. And so she was like, she's been my right hand man since I started this. So she would be the person that I would bounce ideas off of, from helping me, what's an EIN number? You got to have a federal ID number it's just all this new stuff. But she was there, and we had this, from never talking about this before to it's happening now. We had the same vision. She knew what I wanted, and our visions vibed. So as far as the look, which I thought was really important, um, you know, number one, for a customer to walk in, um, they need to be comfortable. You know what I mean? You can't have white walls and that doesn't mean anything if the food sucks. You can have an awesome building, but so just the decorations and getting that place was really important to me, and knowing that I was going to be here all the time, so I wanted it to be comfortable for myself.
Right.
But there's a lot of things with the city, just jumping through hoops, kind of being told, yeah, you need to do this. And then Monday, why'd you put a hole in that wall? You said I could. Well, you can't. It was a lot of stuff like that.
Right.
Um, a lot of surprises, and a lot of money being spent because it went way, 4 months turned into 9 months.
Right.
So
Right.
that's a lot of money being spent, not making any money. So it was very stressful, just figuring it out, with the health department. That's a whole nother thing. It's food. You got to deal with the health department. Luckily, the main lady up there, she was awesome. she actually was pushing the city to give me, my early permits just so I could start bringing some paper goods and stuff in here, just to try to get ahead of the game. Um, but man, we got it open, and it was crazy. They came down here and did a ribbon cutting, and I remember that day because I already had customers and stuff going. So all these people show up and it's packed in here, elbow to elbow, and I'm trying to get these orders out, but I got to go out there and take some pictures and stuff. So it went from putting up the last piece of trim to literally the next day I was smoking meat. Um, so man, it's been a ride because we went from opening up, um, then we're trying to feel out the customers, like, so I learned very quickly, you just go where the customers want you to go. So here's this any event catering that I really didn't want to name it. That's not really what I wanted to do, but I was scared to put barbecue up there because it's another barbecue place in Kansas City. And then it got to the point where I was in the shower and I was like, shit, uh, I need to change the name. So all that any event labels and signs all got ixnayed, and we did all new ones, and I put my name on the building, and then as soon as it went up, I said, this is the way it's supposed to be. And Grandview, I didn't know how to take it. I didn't know how they were going to take us in, and it blew my mind the following that we have, on the social media pages, and we have our regulars, and it's it's pretty humbling. I try not to look at reviews and stuff. We have really good reviews, but one bad one will ruin your day.
Yeah.
But I've had a couple. You know, I've had a few bad reviews, and you can tell it was overbred or something really silly. And then next thing you know, everybody from the city is like attacking this guy. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm like, they all got my back. But man, it's been a ride. I wanted to do meat by the pound. I didn't want to do sandwiches. I didn't want to do fries because I didn't want this place to turn into, a Subway or I wanted it to be, I want to get meats by the pound, out the door, and then we have this general store up front. It's always changing, but it's all homemade goods. I wanted to make a place where if I was out of town and I look over and see a place, like, I'd want to pull in, and that's what I wanted to make this place.
Yeah, I would say when I walked in, man, because I know you told me that, but I looked at some of the stuff that I will get. Like the jams was something I'm like, man, I want to try that. And my wife would love that, like the different types of jams and those things. So yeah, it's very I'm from Oklahoma, number one, but it's very homey when you walk in there. Like I know you said the rustic, but that reminds me of like almost I would almost give it the same vibe as like a Cracker Barrel. You walk in a Cracker Barrel and they have like a lot of homemade stuff you don't see all the time, and you want to get it. That's what I got from that, and it's just really welcoming. I mean, you see that stuff, and it's like, yo, I want to try this. Like, I think there was a salsa there that you had and some jams. I'm like, we're definitely gonna end up trying all these at some point.
Well, that's cool, man. That's exactly what we wanted. This COVID thing's screwed so many people up. We were to go, that was the plan before that hit. So I mean, I might not be here if I wasn't ready for that. But we used to have samples was one of my things on here, man. You have these jars here, they all need to be opened up and people need to try them. And I'll be excited when we can get back to that.
Right.
Because you really see what people like, because everything up here is what people want. We try new things, and if people don't like it, we put something else on the shelf. But that's what makes this up front uh fun and cool. And my mom, she gets to showcase her goods to everybody, that we got to enjoy growing up. And like I said, she's a baker, man, and she does a good job for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So let me ask this, man. What's your future plans for Luke's Barbecue? What are you thinking?
It's tough, man. It's so John Holloway's owns this motorcycle shop next door. We clicked right off the bat, So we've thrown a couple parties together. We're down here on the end of Main Street, and we're in the historic district, but there's really not a whole lot down here for a while. So people are, I'm getting people coming in from, Lee Summit and Leewood, that know where we're at because they looked us up. But I got people in Grandview that lived here their whole life that just don't come down far enough, and we're
Right.
we're literally a block over. So John and I were just, we're always running around with ideas and stuff, and we were talking about that ourselves, and I was like, the first scary thing for us was opening up our businesses, because that's scary. That's a leap, I go, and I think the next scary one is, well, what do you do next? Do you move? You know, do you want to expand? Obviously, that's what you want to do. And then I have probably 3, 4, 5 customers every day. When are you going to open a restaurant? When are you going to open a restaurant? To be honest, that just doesn't appeal to me. I
Right.
really like this. Now my full vision of this, it's not here. I don't have the space for it.
Right.
But I'd like to have some tables up front in a building to where people could actually do lunch here, but it's not a full-on restaurant. I'd like to have a patio. I'd like to have a big glass panel where people can see us smoking, while
That'll
they're
be
eating their
cool.
food. So to answer that question, man, I have to shut it down because there's so many ideas.
Right.
They keep me up at night. But we are going to make moves, and we are gonna get bigger, and we're going to expand. Um, God willing, the customers keep coming. We're gonna we're gonna do something. I just haven't put my finger on exactly what we're gonna do and how we're gonna do it yet.
Right. And
Baby steps, though.
yeah, but one of the things that you said that I completely agree with is it doesn't matter how it looks, how nice you are, the food still got to be damn good. And
Yeah.
I've literally, Bucky let me try the brisket. I tried the brisket, the corned beef, the smoked turkey, and I think that was in the ham, maybe. I'm not sure. He had it, but everything I had, like I tell people this, I have come to Kansas City and I have not been impressed with most of the barbecue that I've had. I think part of that is just the hype. Like you said, it's the barbecue capital of the world. So you're coming here expecting to be just mind blown every time you eat it. But your meat by far has been the best that I've had since I've been here. I'm not just saying that because you're on a podcast. Like I was really surprised that you did it and made
Well,
it that way. So
I appreciate that. My yeah, it is the barbecue capital of the world. So you get these customers that come in and they're like, they'll bring up, all the OGs,
right,
the Arthur Bryants and they almost want to get you to like trash talk them and
right,
stuff. And, my honest opinion about it is this is my barbecue. This is how I do it. Everybody else has their own way. And this is just mine, and I'm glad that everybody likes it who likes it, and I hope they keep coming back.
I think they will, man. Like I said, it's good stuff. So obviously, we're at a point now where you've overcome, you're doing big things. Do you still possibly struggle or have those nights where you want to revert back? And if you do, like you don't have those.
No, not at all. I really, that's the God's honest truth. I don't, if this were, just say a scenario, it's 75 degrees outside. We go to a Mexican restaurant when we're not on a diet. And and there's a cold beer, somebody drinking one next to it. I'll look over at it and I'll be like, yeah, I bet that's nice. But my brain's not programmed to do that. You know what I mean? I know that. Um, I'm glad that I have the memories, and I got a lot of them, of how it used to be and how my body felt, how sick I was, and how depressed I was, and ashamed, and all that bad stuff. I remember that, and I'll never forget it. And I will never go back to that. And that's all it takes is one drink, one shot, one whatever, and it's gone. I can stand here on Sundays. I usually work by myself, and I'll get things going and fire up the smokers. And it's those times when I'm alone, and I flip on the sign, and smokers are lit, and I'm just thinking, this is crazy. This truly was an idea, and here we are, and we're doing it. And anybody can do that. Anybody can do that. Anybody can overcome whatever they want to overcome. Um, it's not easy, and if it's not supposed to be easy, but if you truly want it, um, you can get there. Um, just listen to the people who have done it, and don't be a know-it-all. Just suck it in, and be a student. And that's my only advice. As far as the drinking goes, and addictions, um, the God's honest truth is, I I always thought, as soon as I got out of the hospital, my mindset was, if I could quit drinking, anybody can. I've heard that before from other people, but I'm a firm believer, if I could quit drinking, anybody on this earth can, because I didn't think I could. So, I don't, this is kind of new, saying my whole story to everybody. But it's never been a secret. I do one post on Facebook every year, and I wrote it, the first year I was sober, and I repost it every year. And, the only reason I do that is because every time I do it every year, I get approached by, a few people. Um, and I'm completely okay with that. I don't I don't feel the need to bring it up in, like, say, AA. Some people need to do that, or in a group somewhere and bring it up every day. I don't. But if somebody approaches me, um, saying, "Man, how'd you quit?" or "Hey, I'd like to be done with this," or if they're truly ready, man, I'll talk to them all night long. You know what I mean? I really will, because they have no clue how much better of a life there is out there. You
Right.
know, for the first time in my life, I can say that I'm happy. I can't ever really remember ever being able to say that.
Right.
And now I'm a happy person. As long as I don't get bad reviews, I'm good.
Well, actually, so a young lady from the gym, I won't say her name, but she came up to me and she was like, "Yeah, I saw your post. You're interviewing Casey." And I was like, "Yeah." Like, first, I was like, "How did you see it?" I forgot she followed me on Instagram, but she was like, "When I first saw him, I thought he was mean." She was like, "But when you talk to him, he's such a peaceful person."
Thought I was mean.
Yeah, when she first saw you, she didn't talk to you. So she was just like, I didn't know. But she was like, but once you like talk to him, she's like, he's such a peaceful person. I was like, yeah, like he's super chill. Like, but it's like when you say that you're happy, that's the aura that comes off when somebody talks to you. It's just real laid back, peaceful. I remember the first time I met you in the gym. Hey, what's up, man? Like it wasn't, and I'm not the most approachable person in that area ever.
Yeah, you walk around kind of like you're pissed off, but you're in the zone. I get it.
Right. Yeah. And so like you come, I think it was in the morning, I think when you talked to me, but you're real cool and chill. And I didn't, and like you said, it wasn't, you didn't let me know about your story, anything like that. I actually heard about this from Bucky. Me and Bucky were talking about it. He was just like, yeah, that's Casey. He owns a restaurant, da 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 da. So I would say I agree. I can sense that you're happy because you are peaceful. You're very chill. And that's a good thing.
Well, this place, 100%, and I didn't mention this, but man, positivity is like, I should make t-shirts out of it because uh, I built this place around positivity. I make sure that anybody that comes in working here is a positive soul. When I when I find a girl I want to spend the rest of my life with, she will be a positive soul.
Yeah.
Um, Listen, you choose to be an asshole, you choose to be upset, that's what you if that's how you want to live, that's how you want to live. Personally, man, I just want good vibes, and that's who I want to surround myself with, and that's who I will surround myself with, because that's how I want to live my life.
For sure, for sure. So, and I appreciate that, man. And I wanted to say I appreciate you coming on here because I know it's not something you're used to, and telling your story. I am a firm believer in impact. So I'm never the type of person who's already thinking like, obviously I want it, but I'm not gonna have millions of views right now. I'm not gonna have a bunch, but if we can impact one person's, two people's life through this, we've won. Because that's a life that wasn't impacted before this. So I do think, when we share this, when this is uploaded and people hear this, like you said, the one time you post a year, this will be the same situation. Somebody might see this and reach out. If they reach out to me, I'll direct them to you. But your story it's a powerful story. And then to see you get through all that and be so successful with the barbecue is amazing to me. So I just want to commend you for that and thank you for being a part of this.
Hey, man, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on, getting me out of my comfort zone.
Yeah,
It's good for the soul.
yeah,
But no, I like what you're doing, man. I've been watching your videos too, and I think this whole thing's awesome. I told you that at the gym the other day, but it's cool, and the background is killer, man.
yeah. It's a bit of a. You want to talk about addictions?
That's not necessarily a bad addiction,
No, not at all.
as long as your wife knows about it.
Yeah, she knows, so we're good. She actually bought all these for me. So like the boxes last year for my birthday, I had mentioned that I wanted boxes for my shoes because I just had them stacked on like a little shelf. And so she like went behind my back and messaged all my friends and family because each box costs like $8. Like, hey, I want to do this for Julian. So like 114 people donated $8 to buy boxes. So that's how many we got. I walk into the house one day, and it's hilarious because she's like, I'm actually so the funny part about it, Bucky was in on this and I didn't know. So Bucky's trying to get me to come to Devo on Wednesday, and I'm like, I don't want to. Like he's like, man, come on, bro. I'm like, no, like I don't, I don't want to go. But apparently he was doing that to hold me at the gym so she could set all this up. And so I went ahead and worked out, and I come home and I'm like, I'm starving. I got Chipotle. I'm like, I'm ready to eat. She was like, there's something in your room that's beeping. Can you please walk back there? And I'm like, oh my God, I'm trying to oh my like it's all on video, man. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm happy, excited about that.
Sounds like she's a keeper, man.
Most definitely, 100%. So with that being said, I do want to let y'all know I will link all his information as far as the restaurant, Facebook and stuff, so you guys can see that for the people that are close that are listening. I'm telling you, try this meat. It's amazing. Potatoes, everything. Um, And other than that, man, I will say this, my people watching and listening, I am going to start a new segment in which me and the wifey are going to start doing like date nights at restaurants and reviewing. And this will be the first place that we do. So we're going to get a bunch of food, bring it
Huh.
home, and review his restaurant and put it on YouTube. This will be the first one. So I'm excited about that too.
Oh yeah. Good choice.
All right.
Good way to kick it off.
Yeah, for sure. So for those listening, thank you for tuning in. For those watching, I appreciate you. We will see you on the next one.